Jenny, the Floridian, grew up in Pensacola and has been a Vero Beach resident since 1989. She's a mother of 3 boys, Evan, 23, Samuel, 20, and Coleman, 18, with her late husband, Representative Stan Mayfield. Debbie was elected to Florida House of Representatives in 2008 and was subsequently re-elected to represent District 54, which includes all of Indian River County and northern St. Lucie.
Thank you so much, and I always hate following Karen because she's such a wealth of information. It's unbelievable, and I have depended on her a lot through this process. First, I want to introduce my fiance, Bob Scaringe, Dr. Scaringe. He has been a true supporter of me through this process, and as anyone knows, and Jennifer, you'll learn this as you go along, if you don't have someone back home that supports you, it's really hard to do this. And Bob, I want to thank you for supporting me and keeping me on track on things that's really important. And the education of our children is very, very important. The way I got engaged in this process was after session, not this past session, session before last, I had a group of parents came into my office and they asked me, what did you know about Common Core? And I had to shamefully say I didn't really know a whole lot about Common Core. So they started to inform me about what Common Core was about, and it was starting to show up in the classroom. So I did some research on it, and Karen eloquently laid out how that whole process started from 2010 and how it ended up into our school system. So I filed my bill, House Bill 25, and the purpose of the bill was to slow it down, was to get parent and teachers' involvement, to let parents know what this was about, and to also find out how much money it was going to cost the state of Florida to be engaged in this. And the more that I got into it, I realized that this isn't standards as people sold this to be. It is a method of a way of teaching standards. And that's where the big difference is there. The state of Florida has state rights, and that's what we should be focusing on, is our state rights. And people are really missing the big picture on this. Whenever we were offered money for Medicaid expansion, we as a state said no. We weren't going to take that money. We were going to take care of our people in the state of Florida ourselves, because we did not want the federal intrusion in, and we did not want to have to be beholden to the federal government on what type of insurance we provided to our citizens in Florida. Well, Common Core is the exact same thing. And so it's really mind-boggling to me how we can take $1.5 billion from the federal government for the education of our children, and we can't see that it's the same thing. We are beholden to the federal government on what we need to do. And one of the things that I feel that we can fight this, and Karen touched on it, is this starts at the local level. It starts with the school board members. And I've had so many school board members tell me, we can't do anything because the state tells us what to do. Our hands are tied. Well, then stop doing that. Start fighting. And Lee County was the first school district to really stand up and say, we're not going to do these assessments. And unfortunately, they reversed their decision on it, but that is the first step. And that's what we need to do, is get school board members engaged and let the state know, we're not going to do this. And when people talk about, well, you have to, it's legislated, it's in the statute, it's like, well, we put it there. We can take it out. And that's what people are missing. So when they say, you have to do it this way, well, no, we can't. We don't have to. We can change the law. That's what we do up there. We change the law. And so that's what I would encourage everyone to do. Continue to work with your school board members. We had 2 new school board members elected, and they were both anti-Common Core school board members. So in Indian River County, we're hoping that we're going to start seeing some changes as well. When Karen was talking about the School Board Association, and they are, and we're talking about bringing groups together. Well, the School Board Association is against Common Core for different reasons than what we're against Common Core. But that's okay. If we can get together and find that common ground and get them to fight with us, then we have more of a chance to do it. But we do way too much testing. The teachers are not teaching the way that they want to teach to their children based on the children in their classroom. They're teaching based on how they're being told to teach. And so that is what they're upset about, as well as all the assessment. So, you know, one of the things I hope to do this next session, and working with Karen and working with your new state legislator, Representative Sullivan here, is to come up with some legislation that we can make a difference. Whether we start with baby steps of opting out of these assessments and letting them come up with their own assessments. But I'm going to tell you, the biggest thing that we can do is to stop taking the money from the federal government. Put a plan together that we can start easing out of this $1.5 billion that we get from the government to educate our children. That's what we really need to start and be focused on to get out of it. So, you know, I want to thank all of you guys for coming. I look forward to our panel today after lunch and kind of go through some of the steps that maybe we can do to get legislation going this next session. And I know Miss Jennifer there is going to be, she'll have my bag this year when people last year didn't have it that was sitting in the hallways with me. But thank you very much.